Morning, welcome back. It's Thursday and I've got a couple of diggers to go and see up in the borders, so I'll head in that direction just now. I forgot to do an outro to yesterday's video, and in that outro what I should have said was thanks very much everybody that's got me up to 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. Yeah, tremendous job, like, well done. Appreciate it. 5,000 in less than a year, goodness me. Doing well, we're doing well. So yeah, right, we'll crack on with the day and we'll go and see what we can find. First job's a 160 high track and track guides come off. I'm just hoping that the bolts haven't snapped. I hope they haven't. So yeah, we'll go and have a look at that, and there's a 14 tonner just nearby that we'll go and see as well, so see you in a bit. First job, DX 160 high track. We'll have a look at the track guides, and with a bit of luck the studs haven't broken in. Ha! Oh, here we go. So here's the issue. That should be attached to that. The 4 bolts appear to have disappeared. They haven't snapped in, which is a happy coincidence. So what I'll do is I'll run the new bolts in, tighten them all up, and then I'm going to go around every last bolt in the undercarriage and just make sure everything's tight as it should be, because yeah, shouldn't be losing track guides like. So yeah, nice little job. Weather's dry, nice views. What could be better? Put my boiler suit on and we'll crack on. So first thing I'll do is just clean off the area and the mounting face area where this is going to sit, and clean out the holes where the bolts are going to go into. And then just give all that a clean up. Just wonder whether I should get the, I think I will, I'll get the grinder with a flappy disc on, and I'll just clean up so it's metal to metal, because I would imagine what it is this paint's kind of flecked away and probably allowed that gap to be created where the bolts have then been able to rattle out. There we go, that's it back together. What I'm going to do now is grab my big 3/4 bar and just tighten all these up, and then I'll do the same on the other side. I scrubbed the paint off with the flappy disc, so whether that'll make any difference, I'm sure time will tell. Aye. Right, I'll put that stuff away and I'll get my big bar out. Well, that was a workout. The other 3 track guides that were still with the machine weren't far off being left behind. All 3 guides were loose, so we'll give them a good tightening up. I suppose it's a bit like wheel nut on a car, you should check them after the first 50 miles if you take your wheel off and put it back on. We'll see. Right, pack up, on to the next job. So that's that digger done. Unfortunately, my next machine would have been about 10 miles further along down the road there, but since I've been packing up, I've got a urgent breakdown to go to. There's a 1 ton Mechalak dumper that won't move, and it's in a bit of a bad spot for it to sit down. So I'm gonna have to head there now, which is back down to Carlisle and then past Carlisle. So we'll be 2 hours down to it, so it'll be 3 o'clock when we get there. But yeah, the machine that I was going to be going to, it was a just passing job. If you're in the area, it's in the yard, just help yourself. It's nothing particularly urgent, but that would have been ideal to just get that one ticked off the list. But we'll be back up in the area again shortly, no doubt. So I'll go and get this dumper. Right, we're in a popular holiday location, and whoops, the way down to site where this machine is working, there's a cherry picker blocking the road just round the corner. So I've got a bit of a walk down to where this 1 ton dumper's parked or stopped driving. It starts, but it won't go into forward or reverse. It's blocking the job up for everybody, so I think I've got all I need. Pack myself out suitcase, we'll go down and see what we can find. All the way back to the van, I forgot myself a 19mm socket. Of course, the bolts that hold the floor plate in, there'd be 2 17s and 2 19s, wouldn't there? So this 1 ton dumper high tip thing, you remember I PDI'd it about 2 or 3 weeks ago. It sort of won't move from here. Came down the hill and it stopped dead, and then they left it 15 minutes and then it set off going again, and then it stopped again. I've got all this out and I've been having a look at this wiring diagram, and I think it's this this magic eye we call them, because when I join these 2 wires together, that sorts out the brake relay in there and we can get it to move. Now we've only moved it forward because we had one fella holding it while we tried to move the machine, so obviously we didn't want to run anybody over, so we've not properly tested it. So I'll get these wires taped together and then we'll see if it'll go in forward and reverse. At least it'll be enough to keep the machine going or get it out the road, and we'll get a new magic eye if that's what it needs. I've made a temporary repair. I've just left those wires joined up, and that's going to get it back to the compound, sort of off site. I'll get a new magic eye organised for it, and probably Monday's job. I can't imagine we'll get one of them for tomorrow. So yeah, right, that's another good result. The Mechalak wiring diagrams are a lot different to the Doosan wiring diagrams, so it took me about 5 or 10 minutes just to acclimatise myself to how they work. But yeah, first proper breakdown on a Mechalak really. Everything else has just been stupid stuff, hasn't it? So pleased with that, good result. So I'll show you my method, or at least I'll show you how I came across it. This is how Mechalak lay out the wiring schematics. So this page is sort of transmission and movement related, and this page looks like it's lights related. So you kind of see you have a break in the wire here, so then you have to go to page 1 and go to in that case there D7. So you go to page 1, go to D, go to 7, and you'd find the other end of that wire there. But anyway, that took a bit of getting my head around. So how did I come across that? Well, I sort of worked my way back. When I jumped on the machine, put it in reverse, there was no reverse alarm, so I knew that I wasn't going to be getting any power to me well, at least my reverse solenoid, because that takes a life out of here, you see. So then I opened up the box behind the steering wheel and had a look in here, and it looks quite simple on here, but it seems a lot more complicated in real life. But anyway, the relays were sat next to here, and I noticed when I was checking my powers and things like that, I wasn't getting a yellow signal. So this yellow wire here wasn't getting power. So when I trace that back down, there's a magic eye on the foot pedal. I was getting power in and no power out. And so I joined that wire to that wire, and that energized that, which then allowed power into the forward reverse and move the solenoids. So I'm pretty pleased with that outcome. Like I say, I've never, well, as you've seen, never had much to do with Meclac dumpers, so I'm quite pleased with myself that I managed to work that one out and at least get the machine working and moving. And yeah, we'll come back and put that magic eye on, and that should cure it. Maybe somebody watching is a Meclac expert and they've just watched me bypass an important safety feature, but they're gonna put that machine back into the compound and just leave it stood. So yeah, at least it's out the road. Hello, Friday morning. I'm gonna go and look at a 420 loading shovel. The transmission seems to be overheating. They've washed the radiators out and blown them out, and it's still overheating. So I'm gonna go and see if I can find out what it is. Not 100% sure. There's a thermostat for the transmission, so it'll put the transmission oil straight back into. Phone's ringing again. Right, I might not be. We'll see. I'll answer this phone call now. Right, there we go. 15 minutes later. Yeah, I can't remember what I was saying, but I'll go and have a look at this shovel. And then thought that was like a doorstop. It's a cat. I thought they've ratched this doorstop out of a skip that looks like a cat, but it's real. Oh dear. Right, we'll go and find somebody to talk to. So the phone maybe at the start of the week to say that this transmission was getting hot, and did I have any suggestions? I've had it before with a 420-5 working in a sand quarry, and I think they changed transmission filters and all sorts, and then they called me up and I went down and I spent about an hour washing the radiator out. So this radiator pack here, you see how it's split into different sections. This bottom one down here is the transmission oil cooler. So what I've been doing is shining a torch through here and seeing if I can see the light at the other side. And they have, well, he says he's giving it three washes until the water run clean out to the side, and you can see the light at the other side of the cooler all the way across, apart from sort of this little corner here and this little corner down here. So I think the cooler's clear enough. That pipe down there, that one, that's quite hot to the touch. The other side is quite cool. So I'm gonna have a look at the transmission schematic and have a look, because in here, this assembly here is the it has got a bit of oil about it, but I'm not too concerned. This is the transmission thermostat. So when see, how does this work? I'll probably be able to work it out. Yeah, when the oil isn't up to temperature, I think it comes in this pipe and then straight back into the transmission until the oil's warm enough. And then once the oil's warm enough, or it gets hot, it'll open and send the oil through here and then through the cooler back into this bottom one here. And maybe it is working, because this pipe here is almost too hot to the touch, or it was 5 minutes ago. It's warming up now. Yeah, that's hot. That's hot. Return pipe down here is just as hot. Yep. This pipe here, which would go to the cooler on the far left, so over that side that I said was warm, that's just as hot. But this oil that's returning, you would say was lukewarm, which to me, yeah, I mean that's cold to the touch, that. So am I getting oil through it? Is the oil going through the cooler, I'm wondering? Or is it backed up and blocked? I don't know how you'd prove that, like, without taking a pipe off and making a huge mess. So there is a screw on the bottom of the thermostat. There's like a lock nut, and you can manually override the thermostat. So you screw the screw and it lifts the thermostat off its seat, and that lets the oil pass into the cooler. It just says it's when it's alright trundling about the yard, it's when you go to shove a stockpile up. So if you were to go into that heap of crushed stuff over there and push it, transmission quickly, the temperature quickly goes zoop, like that. What else could it be? What else could it be? Around here. Got the transmission filters. They're just as hot as those pipes at the back. Yeah. The oil's going through it that way. Red hot. Maybe not just as hot, maybe there's a restriction in the filters, but you've got like a blockage sensor here that I've had play up before, but normally that puts a light on the dash. Bit of a head scratcher. What am I gonna do? I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm not I don't think those coolers are blocked anyway. I don't think that. Well, I think there's plenty of airflow able to go through there. Wonder if this fan's revving up. That fan might be going round, but it might just be idling all the time. But then the coolant isn't overheating. Neither's the hydraulic oil. I think I'll shut all these doors and run it into a heap and just observe the symptoms, I think. So when I jumped on the machine, the torque converter temperature was 93 degrees, transmission sump temperature was 90 degrees, which to me seems hot. I've just shoved up into that heap of stone over there, and you shove into it and basically you stand still, the wheels still want to keep turning, but the torque converter temperature, as you'd expect I suppose, just go like that. I think I got it to about 120 degrees, which was plenty hot enough. So for 100 odd degree oil, that is stone cold. Stone cold. Now, no oil cooler is that efficient. Absolutely not. I mean, that's the coolant there, and that's warm to the touch. So my suspicion is that the transmission cooler is blocked. That side there is warm. Like I can touch that pipe down there. That's warm, but it's not. It's not hot, that's not hot. In here, this pipe will be coming from the transmission. Now that is hot. Oh yeah, that is hot. So I just wonder if that thermostat isn't opening. So I'm going to override that, which is a bit of a pig to do. If you know that those belly plates come off and they're really, really bad to put back on. In fact, is there a drier spot I can do this? I'm going to go and find a drier spot, because in my experience, when you take them belly plates off, they're a V shape, and when you take the bolts out, they kind of go bling like that. And you've got to get it past these drain pipes as well. I can feel. I might be able to grab a screwdriver and do it from up here maybe. I'll try it first. I didn't do what I said I was going to do and move the machine. But I will when I come to put it back on, because I'll obviously take my boiler suit off and drive it, and then I'll move my van to where I park it, and then I'll wander over and grab that belly plate. But if you look under there, that there is the screw that you screw in. So that's bottomed out now. I'll run it into this heat now and see if it'll overheat. So my driver has just been and had a bit shove about, and the transmission temperature is a lot more stable. What I've noticed straight away is this pipe down here has a bit of heat about it now. So overriding that has allowed the transmission oil to go through the transmission cooler. So it looks like we're going to have one of them to replace, which will be fun. I think I did one at the start of the year, and it was one of these two shovels on this site, and it must have been the 350. I was looking at that. I don't think they look like my cable ties, essentially, is what I'm saying. I really don't think so. Even this pipe, I don't think I'll have even put as many cable ties as that on for that wiring when I put it back together. So there's another job to look forward to. It's also due a service as well, so whether I drain the transmission oil out and service it and then replace that, that's probably a good idea, because I've probably lost a fair bit of oil. Anyway, cross that bridge next week. Got a lot of big jobs on coming up shortly. Well, there's a job to look forward to next week. I've got big-ish jobs, big for me anyway. You cast your mind back to the summer, I was at 420 CVT, we were servicing it in that heat wave, and I noticed that the diesel tank was leaking around that weld on the mounting point. So that diesel tank was delivered midweek this week, so we've got that. That same shovel also needs an accumulator for the boom suspension. That turned up yesterday, so I've got that to do. I've also got this shovel to come back to and put that thermostat in, and it also wants a 500-hour service. And then the 350 shovel that's here, it's got like a knocking noise when you turn. There's a lot of play in the drive shaft, but when I've looked closely, there's a carrier bearing that sits just above the axle, not above the axle. There's a carrier bearing sort of in the loader section of the shovel that carries the shaft. That bearing's away in it as well, so we'll have that to contend with. So there's a few big shovel service jobs on the horizon. I've got a 380 to service on Monday. I've got that, remember that 235 that had a bit of a miss occasionally, but obviously wouldn't do it when I was there. I've got some information back and some tests to carry out on it. I need to get back out there. And if I go back out there, there's that 140 that I couldn't get serviced about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I'll try and catch that as well. So there's a good week's work there, and that's obviously without the phone ringing. So yeah, normally this time of year things kind of wind down for Christmas. I'm normally a couple of jobs here and there, and so anyway, it's only a good thing, I suppose. So yeah, lots on. Right, I'll pack up and get back to the yard, order these bits, and then we'll go from there. I'm back at the yard, and I've just been ordering all them. I've been ordering parts for those 2 shovels, while pricing the bit up. I've also been pricing some other bits up for somebody else. What I'm going to do, I didn't realise yesterday, not that it really mattered because it was back end at day, but with another 1 ton high tip dumper here, so I'm just going to pull the floor plate off it because it's just a 5-minute job, and I would imagine that proximity sensor, I'll have a little LED light in it, so we'll just see how that works, and double check our findings from yesterday. And if it is the case, then I'll take that sensor off it, go and put it on that customer's machine, and that gets another job knocked out of the way, because although I'll be sort of passing on Monday, I just don't think I'll have the time to get in and do it without sort of rushing. So that's what I'm going to do. All right. Yeah, so when I press this, light goes on and off. So I'll have that robbed out of there. Noisy thing. I'll rob that out of there and nip down and put that on. Get some jobs finished off, because like I say, we've a lot on the horizon to do, and I just want to get some jobs out from under my feet. So yeah, I've got Monday booked, Tuesday booked, Wednesday I was penciling in doing that thermostat, but obviously I have to price the job before we get the go ahead, and also there's a surcharge if I want the parts for Wednesday, so that might not be till the following week, but we'll get this done. Right, 1 ton Mecalac dumper. I've pulled the old sensor out, I've refitted the wires, so if anybody wants to know, join the white wire and the yellow wire together, and that basically makes the circuit. And you can hear the relay clicking in there. So that relay then allows power to your forward reverse lever on here, and jobs are good and jobs are good. And so I just need to put this into here, so when the pedal is close, you see that little light goes off, and then when you throttle down, it allows power. So the idea of it is, this machine doesn't have a park brake. It sort of, the way it parks is through the hydraulics. So when you go to throttle down, when you go to throttle down, that little light comes on, which allows power into that relay, power to your forward shuttle, and then power down to your forward reverse solenoids here. One on the top and one just below it is your reverse. Single speed. Nice and simple once I got to the bottom of the schematic yesterday. So yeah, I'll put this on, I'll adjust it up, and I'll have a bit razz about on it. Not that they do much razzing, almost like a jogging speed, but is what it is. We'll do that. There you are, look, so you can see I've got the new one plugged in. There's a tiny gap there, and when I throttle down, light comes on, brum brum brum, away you drive. That goes off, and there's a braking relay, so that must do something to slow the machine down, which is why I was kind of keen to get this sorted properly, because I don't want it running away down a hill while I wait for the new one. I'm not too sure. I ordered a new one on the system. It wasn't showing any stock, but quite a lot of the stuff doesn't show stock, and then 2 days later stuff turns up. So I'm not too worried about how long it'll take to get one of them. I mean, if push comes to shove, I've got the old one. I can go to an auto electrician's. I'm sure an auto electrician's will be able to get hold of one of them, no bother like. So yeah, job's a peach. Job's a peach. Right, I'll put this plate back on. I'll put a cable tie on that plug too. Keep it nice and neat. little side note, when I was working on it yesterday, I thought I had to take this plate off to get the floor plate off, but you don't. You just need to take the bolts out and then lift it up that way, and it comes out from underneath this. But when we took this out, this soundproofing came off from inside there, and it was sort of laid on the bonnet. So what I've got from building my van, when I put that interior lining, I'll show you if you haven't seen it, you'll have seen it anyway, but this interior lining, I put that on my cell. I've got some spray glue left over, which I found, so spray it on here, look. Ooh. I'll do it elsewhere so I don't spray glue all over the machine, but I'll spray it on there and stick it into the back of there. Right, we're back at the yard now. Van's all washed off and ready to start the week next week. Loaded up with the 380 shovel service as well, which is what Monday's job's going to be. That's over on the east side of the country, so by the time I get over there, shovel serviced, it'll be best part of the day taken up. So we'll wrap it up there for today's video, but like I said at the start of the video, hit 5,000 subscribers, so thanks everybody that has subscribed to the channel, and keep on liking, keep on commenting, and yeah, I can't believe I've got 5,000 subscribers and I've not even been doing this for a year yet, so sounds like I'm doing the right thing. But I asked, I think it'd be 2,000 subscribers, somewhere around that sort of time, what you as viewers do for a living, and also whereabouts in the world you're watching from, because when I look on the analytics, there's sort of viewers in America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. I think there was, for a time, there's quite a lot of viewers in India as well. So let us know what it is that you do for a living, or what you did for a living if you're retired, and also whereabouts in the world you're watching from as well. I find that kind of thing quite interesting, so leave a comment down below and I'll spot them. So thanks very much for watching, and have a good weekend everyone. We'll see you on Monday morning nice and fresh.